And we are live. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Cody Mack here. With a special live chat here on What's the Word with none other than the man, Mr. Louis Carr. How's it going, sir?
I'm doing good, my brother. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for asking, sir. Thank you for asking. Off mic, we were just talking about those amazing glasses you got on. Like, you know,
I don't even know who these are, man. I was telling you, I got about literally, it's probably about 15 pair here on my desk. So whatever I grab, that's just what I put on.
oh man, I admire the style. I definitely admire the style, and I like the background too. The collective of the background, man. You got style.
You're like Malcolm back there, me and Malcolm having a chat.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah, Malcolm X is one of my favorite figures. I rock with Malcolm. Hey, man.
Very good.
So coming from the west side of Chicago, you gotta have style. That's one of the things. Like Chicago people, we have style. And, and also coming from the west side of Chicago, coming from Chicago, period, and being a black man of Chicago, I feel like we have purpose. And one of your purposes is the Men's Blueprint Summit, correct?
Correct. So we're so excited about this weekend coming up. It will be our sixth conference. The last 2 years have been virtual. So this is the first time since 2019 that we're coming back in person. And the demand has been amazing. We had to shut it down 2 weeks ago because we couldn't take any more people. So we're, Cody, sort of like in the airline situation right now. When people be screaming at the person at that desk saying, how can this plane be overbooked? So that's how we are right now. So we're excited about the opportunity to serve men and to sort of help men grow.
How does this? That's amazing that it's sold out like that, because I think that's something that's very needed, and you can see that men being eager to come get this information and just to be a part of what's going on. How does something like this come about? Like, how did you curate this?
Well, this has sort of been this life journey of purpose that I've been on, Cody. Back in 2003, I started my foundation, the Louis Carr Internship Foundation, where we give paid internships to students of color who are in college. So I started that back in '03, and I continue to sort of say, what else can I do? So when I looked around, you have a lot of women's conferences serving women, all right? Empowering women, helping women grow, helping women get to the next level. But there was not a lot of conferences out there serving men. And when you look at all of the issues and obstacles and challenges that Black men face today, I wanted to sort of do my part in helping inspire, educate, and motivate men to get to the next level. So that's how the Blueprint Summit sort of came along.
Okay. So, what are some of the positive feedbacks have you been getting since you started this? Like some of the testimonies from the attendees.
Well, what we've been hearing is that the information and the journeys and the stories that our Black thought leaders share with the group is what has inspired them and motivate them that if they can, I can. We've also received feedback from young men saying that, wow, this is the same thing that my mom told me or my dad told me, but I didn't believe them. But now that I hear it here, I'm ready to act on it and be something and do something different. So we've consistently got that type of feedback that is having an impact and an influence on how people think and what people do.
Um, Let me ask you this: why do you feel that people in our community would rather hear something from our quote unquote celebrities or influencers before they listen to their parents, give them that same type of information?
Well, I don't think that's exclusive to our community, Cody. I think that's exclusive to the demographic. All right. I think, a lot of young people, including myself when I was that age, Of course, as I tease young people, I say, of course you know more than your parents. Of course you're more experienced than your parents. And every young person comes along, believes that at some point in time on their journey, that their parents are old school, that parents are out of touch. We hear it all the time. And it goes from generation to generation to generation. That's consistent. But as you sort of go through your journey and through your cycle, you realize like maybe they did know a little something. Maybe they are smarter than I think they are. Maybe they are more in touch than I think they are. So I don't think that's exclusive to our community. I think that's exclusive to the particular demographic.
Okay. Um, so I noticed this year summit, you're having like a youth, a special part dedicated to the youth. If that has that always been there, or this just for this year?
It has always been there, but this year I added something. I'm letting someone young run it.
Okay.
So the host is Ian Brock, a very special young man who I met on social media several years ago, and I was so impressed with what he was doing at that particular time. I wanted to support him, and from that we've created a relationship with him and his parents. And I just thought this would be a great opportunity for him and also a great opportunity for Blueprint to have someone in the demographic that is already teaching and engaging with teenagers to sort of be a part and be a lead in that particular portion. So we're calling it the Teen Summit.
I like that because a lot of times in the game you will see like people in our demographic, the older demographic, we'll try to curate things for youth, and we kind of think, well, we know what the youth wants, but it's better to have someone that's in that demographic, that's in that target audience, that knows what they want, they can think, you know.
And this is all him. This is all him. I'm just following his lead.
Yeah, so I think that's dope, and I think it should be interesting to see how the youth perceives that and what they take from away from that. So that should be dope. All right. So also on this year's summit, I see that you got G Herbo gonna be in the building this year.
Yeah, we got G Herbo, and that was a special request from the host, Ian Brock. He said, "Can you get me G Herbo?" And we reached out, and he graciously agreed to work with Ian. They've worked together in the past,
Mhm.
so it was sort of a low hanging, easy fruit for him to say yes.
Are you familiar with G Herbo at all?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so what about G Herbo?
Look, Cody, I do work for BET. You know, that's my day job. Okay.
Hey, you know, sometimes people they might know but not be familiar with the artist. They just might know the name. So that's why I want to know, do you like how familiar are you with G Herbo?
I'm familiar with him, definitely.
Okay. The reason why I asked, one of the main reasons why I asked that, because I feel like the growth of Herbo as a man, and especially with his recent project that he just released, I think it fits perfectly with this man's summit, him being there, because he can show young men, especially coming from certain areas in Chicago, like, yo, it's growth and then it's different ways and different paths you can do certain things. And I definitely hearing that message coming from him can definitely impact a lot.
Absolutely. And then him being a Chicago native
Yeah.
and now he living in LA, I think he clearly has a real understanding what's happening in this city. And I think young people can relate to him based on his, as you just said, particular journey and how he's sort of grown and changed over the years.
Yeah, I just think it's a perfect marriage because I'm a huge Herbo fan and listen to this album. I'm like, yo, Herb is really like been. I first met G Herbo when he was 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
So by me meeting him when he was 16 years old and seeing him now, he just turned 27. It's like, yo, I seen the growth of this man. And I seen, you know, from the music, from the style, with him coming a father. So I think this is perfect timing, and it's just, you know, the stars align. God, the stars align. So it's dope.
That
That's dope. All right. So you said your day job is with BET, right? So can you explain to the people what you do with BET?
Yes, I am president of advertising sales for BET. I've been at BET for 36 years, and basically what I do is I educate corporate America on the influence, the impact, and the spending power of Black America.
Okay.
Uh, so basically, I sort of educate people on the value of Black teens, Black men, Black women, Black family, and how we impact the overall economy, how we influence everything from voting to iPhones, how we influence everything from movies and music all the way through technology. So that's what I say I do for a living.
Okay. So in doing your time of holding this position, what are some of the most interesting things that you found about the way how Black people spend their time, how they spend their money, and just overall, like what's some interesting things you have discovered?
Black people have huge influence and impact on the overall economy, probably more than we know.
Mhm.
Whether you say it's in fashion, I say this thing, Cody, what young Black people do today we know the world does tomorrow. So they emulate, whether it is in fashion and style and music or whatever, what we've already done. So I don't think a lot of times we realize how that input and that influence sort of impacts the overall economy. Because if someone didn't see us do it first, we are that cool factor in America. We are that unique factor in America. So when you think about all of the things that are different and cool in this country, it sort of started in our community. You think about the Kardashians at the end of the day, the way they look, the way they dress, the way they talk, who they date, it all sort of came from our community. You look at reality TV, period. How many times have you heard the word bruh? You're going like, really? Really? Well, it came from our community. So one of the things we do educate corporate America on, we do not just impact the Black community, we impact all communities.
That's deep. That's deep. I know one thing we talk about in our community is making sure how can we make sure our community is economically stable and keep the dollar circulating and keep the value in the culture. Like what are some things that you feel like you want to help implement for the next generation to understand the value of everything you just said?
Well, one of the things is, we have to educate ourselves. We have to really understand, our power, our influence, and our impact. And number two, we have to understand how do we pay that back? How do we educate the next generation? How do we become waymakers, as we say in my circle? How do we do that? How do we influence? One of the most popular things about the Blueprint Men Summit is on that Saturday we have this thing called Hope Luncheon, where we bring the teenagers and we bring men together to eat together, to hear different stories, to hear different journeys, to hear different struggles, whether it is personal, community, business, whatever the case may be. Build relationships in order to exchange ideas back and forth one another. So it is about being informed at the end of the day. Information is power, education is power, and we have to make sure that we as a community understand that. In my office in New York, Cody, I had sketched on my glass in about 2 feet letters the word growth, GROWTH. And
Mhm.
most people think because I'm in charge of revenue, that's what it means. It doesn't mean that. What it means is growing personally as an individual, educating ourselves. It's this ongoing journey. I'm going to speak a lot about this at the summit. You know, our theme is being your best self, what it looks like, sounds like, and acts like at the end of the day. In order to do that, it's about growth, it's about change, it's about reinvention, it's about vision. So that's why I'm doing this summit so that we all can grow, including me.
I'm That was a amazing soundbite, and that's gonna be the soundbite we cut for promo because I need people that understand the impact of what this summit and your vision and how passionate you feel about what's going on. Um, I want to ask this: this year, someone I noticed you have people on there from like Earn Your Leisure. You got Fat Joe. Shout out to my homie Charles Alexander. He's with the Black Bread Company. Actually got some of that in the fridge right now. Um, Chicago native. So you just got different people from all walks of life in this summit. Like, how did you go about choosing the panelists and just the events and things that's gonna go on this year?
So we have several pillars that we try to serve. Number one, entrepreneurship. At the
Mhm.
so how do you start a business? How do you maintain that business? How do you grow a business? So we want to bring in people, whether it is the Black Bread Company or whether it is Master P, who started many businesses, to talk about that process and the capital needed to start a business. We also, corporate America. How do you climb that corporate ladder? How do you deal and navigate whether it is unfairness or whether it is just trying to get promoted or whatever the case may be? How do you climb that corporate ladder? We also want to deal with finances. Finances is important to every man on the planet, especially Black men. So, I've heard some men say, well, women are always looking at how much money we make. Finances are important. Let's just be honest. Period.
Yeah, they
No,
are.
no question. We also want to talk about health and wellness. Health and wellness is important, whether we're talking about our physical health, whether we're talking about our mental or emotional health. We've got to face it head on. We can no longer say, well, I ain't been to the doctor in 10 years. I'm good. That's not a good thing. We have to educate people. You need to go to the doctor often so that when you do go, they don't find something that's been sitting there and festering for years. And then also, Cody, we want to talk about relationships. How do we continue to improve our behavior? How do we continue to improve our understanding? How do we continue to improve our empathy and to one another in relationships? So we wanted to address all of the core pillars that we think a man needs to be effective in his family and in his community.
Oh, man, that's dope. That's dope. So it's two things I want to unpack before we wrap up because I know you're a busy man. The first thing I want to unpack, you mentioned Master P. I'm a marketing guy, I got my degree in marketing. Was it strategically planned to have Master P, hip hop mogul, a hip hop culture mogul, not just in music, but with the culture mogul? Was there a strategic plan to have him be there Saturday morning at 9 in the morning, opposed to having him headline to people come through the late to just bring people there early throughout the day?
No, that's when he could make it. he originally was going to open up on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
but his son has a football game on Friday.
Okay.
All right, and so he wanted to be there for the game.
Okay. I'm thinking like, yo, I thought it was like one of those things like you got to hear Master P speak, so I got to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm be there for the rest
No,
of the
no, it was the scheduling.
Okay. And then the last thing I wanted to unpack was so this amazing summit, all the pillars, all the opportunities, all the information that's going to be here those 2 days, Friday and Saturday. But they say no women are allowed in the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you choose it to be like that?
Well, we wanted to create a safe space for men to be their authentic best self. All right. And whether we're talking about health and wellness, whether we're talking about finances, whether we're talking about relationships, we didn't want anyone to sort of say, hey, I got a question or I got a comment, but I don't know how it's going to come off or how I'm going to be perceived by someone of the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been asked that from the beginning since I started this conference. And we've even polled the men who've come to the conference. And everyone has said they love the safe space. I can tell you this. We had a gentleman come and talk about on stage, someone famous, about a particular illness that he had. And he talked to the audience about it. And when it came to the Q&A, multiple men popped up, Cody. I've got that. I'm dealing with that. I've been to the doctor and just got diagnosed with that. All right. I don't think that would have happened if women had been in the room. I
Mm.
don't think men would have been that open to share their medical history and their medical problems if women had been in the room. We clearly know that when it comes to talking about relationships, men will shut down in front of women and don't want to talk about their real feelings in
True.
front of women. We clearly know that. And when it comes to, you know, entrepreneurship and raising capital and the struggle of starting a business, men don't want to be vulnerable in front of women,
This is true.
whether it's right or whether it's wrong. They just don't. So we wanted to create this safe space where men could be open, men could learn, men could talk about their missteps, and no one would judge them because it's a non-judging something. We meet you where you are, wherever you are in your journey, whether you have a college degree, whether you're in corporate America, whether you only have a high school degree, wherever you are, that's where we meet you. And then we help you through information, through relationships, get to that next level.
That's amazing, man. I can't wait to experience it this weekend. I know for sure I'll be there for the majority of the day on Saturday. Friday, I got another event that I can't get up out of, but I can't wait to experience it all. I can't wait to soak it in. I can't wait to meet the people. I appreciate you, brother, for putting together something like this. And when I first heard about it last year during the pandemic, I know it was virtually, like that's when I first reached out, like, yo, I got to get a part of this because more people from our community, especially inner city Chicago culture, hip hop culture, we need to know that this exists, and we need to blow this thing up. Men need to be here, men need to support this, and men need to support what you got going on. So I appreciate the time that you allowed for me to talk to you, and I appreciate you for putting on this summit for us.
Thank you, my brother, and look forward to seeing you.
Yes, sir. This is What's the Word. I'm here with Louis Carr, and we out.